Hello and welcome to another episode of KDM. By now, if you don't know, and if you're brand new to the show, the K stands for my good friend and colleague, Kit Bowen. K, Kit. Hi, Kit. How are
Hi.
you? How do you do?
Good.
The
And the
D
D stands for my good friend,
uh,
Dimitri Panos.
me hi, and the M stands for movies. So KDM movies, that's what Kit and myself do. We talk movies here, we review movies. The whole point is we wanted to do a show, like an old throwback kind of show. I would not consider ourselves influencers. No. You want to know, and Kit, if you allow me to talk for you on behalf of you for less than a minute. We're movie reviewers, right? I wouldn't call myself an influencer, but we're 30 plus years in the business of doing movie reviews. Kate, you have an amazing history of the business of movie reviews and criticisms, and you've done amazing interviews throughout your very established, shiny career. And like you've in your reviews, it's a lot of thought. You have a lot of movie history, and that history is what brought us together and how we became friends. And part of how this show came together was, hey, you know what? We want to do an old timey wimey fashion kind of a show that harkened back to the shows of the 80s and the 90s, where two people got together and discussed movies in a fun way and in a knowledgeable way, where we can agree and disagree at good times. And then at the end of the day, we're still good friends of it all. We just have a good time because talking movies should be fun.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's what this show's about. Kit Dimitri, we were talking movies, KDM. And today we
ADM.
have something, KDM, yay. So like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And today we've got something we believe, well, we hope that you run to and not run away from. Of course, I'm talking about The Running Man, the remake, the remake of the 19, I believe it was 1985,
Yeah.
1985 movie. Also, an adaptation of a Stephen King or a Richard Bachman Stephen King novel
Yep.
book, The Running Man. And of course, if you don't know, the 1985 version starred Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was on his way to rise, his meteoric rise to become one of the world's largest movie stars ever.
Yep.
And it also, I love this little fact. It was directed by Paul Michael Glazer, who was Starsky of the famous, and it was famous, it was on for a good handful of seasons, Starsky and Hutch. Starsky and Hutch, the action cop drama.
That's right.
Uh, yep, and Paul Michael Glazer directed The Running Man. And now we've got Edgar Wright, no slouch himself, as
Nope.
a director. Coming into the fray. Apparently, this has been a passion project of his, and he wants to put his spin on it. And he recruits Glenn Powell, who let's face it, I think we could call him a movie star at this
Yeah.
point. This guy can do it all.
Yep.
So he's taking over the reins, and he's got quite the big shoes to fill for Schwarzenegger. But he is Ben Richards in this adaptation, movie adaptation of The Running Man. Kit, you saw it the other day. What did you think of The Running Man?
I didn't realize Paul Michael Glazer directed the original. He also directed
Yep.
another sort of little
Band of
hidden
the
gem.
Hand
No.
was his first movie.
Yeah, no. He also directed something that I actually love the movie every time I watch it. A bit of a guilty pleasure. The Cutting Edge.
The
Cutting
Cutting Edge.
Edge.
Yes, he
It's
did.
a
Yep.
very, it's a fun movie. That's a
Toe
really
pick.
fun movie. Don't pick me. Yeah, so I didn't know that. Interesting. But we
Yeah.
love Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright's, he's definitely a director that I've really admired for many years, starting out with his comedies with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, Shaun of the Dead, and all of those fun movies. And then I think he kind of took the action drama to a new height with Baby Driver. I thought that was fantastic. Yeah,
I love
it's
that
fantastic.
movie.
Anyway, so I think he handles this very well. Now, as opposed to the 1985 version, which was sort of loosely based on the Stephen King story about a dystopian future where not not much unlike what it is today, where we have entertainment on where people are having to vie for doing dangerous things to win money, except for in this scenario they actually do die if they don't do what they're supposed to do or they can't make it. So but Stephen King's original story was Ben Richards was this, he lived in poverty basically, and he and his wife can't afford to give their child medicine when they just have the flu, and so he, is desperate to make money, so he goes through this process and becomes part of the Running Man. Now, in this film, I love that the whole sort of auditioning process, and then he ends up meeting with the Josh Brolin character, who's like the head of the executive producer in one of the network suits, basically you would call him, who sees potential in this guy and making him, making the show be this huge ratings hit and lots of money and all that kind of good stuff. I liked it. I mean, I had a good time with it. I thought it was fun. I like the fact that it's kind of harkens, it kind of, goes back to the original story itself. Glenn Powell is, you're right. He really can just do just about anything. And his Ben Richards is, he's kind of a sort of an anti-hero, right? When you kind of call him that,
A
he's
defiant
always,
hero for sure.
yes, defiant hero. He
Yeah.
definitely feels the oppressed, needs to have some sort of, a step up. So all of he's very angry, but all of the things that he's been like fired from all these jobs and all this stuff is because he's standing up for people and he's trying to, do good basically, but also angry
Hmm.
at the same time. So I kind of like that. He embodies that very well. Glenn Powell did. I thought he did a great job with this, and he really is the movie. Honestly, it like I think you agreed too. It kind of went on a little, but he kind of carries it all the way through, and he's just incredibly watchable. Some standouts, like I said, Josh Brolin plays the smarmy, network suit very well. And then you've got, all the hunters that come after him, including Lee Pace, who's like the lead hunter. But then on Richard's path to try to make it to the 30 days, right? He meets all these various different people, including Michael Cera. We're like, yes, Michael Cera, welcome back, buddy. I haven't seen you in a while. And he kind of plays this, underground revolutionist in sense, but he's kind of booby trapped his house. I don't know. All of that is parts of it you can see in the trailer actually. So, um, he's able to take down some of the goons, which what they call the police people, I guess. I don't know, whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to look at it in the broader picture, the actual story took place in 2025.
Yeah.
So, when Stephen King wrote it in the 80s, he sort of had a vision of what 2025 would be like, and he kind of wasn't wrong. He didn't have the whole internet, technology part of it really, but certainly if he had known about all that, he would have put that in the film. I mean, in
Didn't
the
he
story.
though?
No,
Because we
not
have
really.
the flying drones that
Yes.
can capture stuff, and
Yeah.
well, I want
But
to
I'm
talk
just
about
talking
that a
about
little
the
bit. Yeah.
whole, just all of the filming on your phone and this kind of thing that the the Running Man represents, is that if you are just a civilian and you see him and you video him, and if they catch him or kill him or whatever, you get money, so it's pitting people against people and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, its relevancy is very, very
It's
clear. And
crazy.
well, it's probably one of the reasons why Edgar Wright wanted to do it. I would imagine he probably said, "Hey, this story needs to be retold." So this is a remake that I'm okay with doing, because the original, although being lots of fun, and for its time had some great action sequences and special effects,
Sure.
pretty cheesy. Poor Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, the guy has been in some of the all like, again, fun movies, but they can be tend to be pretty cheesy, and this was definitely one. Richard Dawson was great as the host, but I loved Coleman Domenico. I thought he's another one. I can't wait for him to finally do something where everyone goes, "Oh yes, please have the Academy Award here, have it." He's there. He's going to get there pretty soon, I think. He's a great actor. I mean,
I agree.
first time I remember really sort of paying attention to him was in the Walking Dead spinoff. What was it? Why am I blanking? The
I
one
don't
where it's
know.
like a prequel. Anyway, gosh, that's stupid of me not to remember that. Anyway,
It's
I just he
okay. It's
was
raining.
it is raining. Yes,
It's
everyone,
pouring.
it's raining in Los Angeles, and we are all just
Do
hunkered
you know? Do you
down.
know? And this is fact. Southern California is the wettest area in the entire country right now.
Fear of the Walking Dead. Fear the
Fear of
Walking
the
Dead.
Walking Dead. All right. Well, there you
That's
go.
what it was called. Anyway, so yeah, you're right. Anyway, we're all hunkered down, and this is a great day to actually watch movies. If you have like a trilogy of movies you want to watch, this would be the perfect time to do that. So, but yes, really, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much. I definitely Glenn Powell powered it through, and I did. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it as well. I think that I thought that it was very entertaining. I thought that it was very fun. It is interesting. I thought that it was, to your point, what you were talking about, Edgar Wright. I think this is the least looking of an Edgar Wright movie
Yes.
that he's directed, right? So it didn't. This looked more like a big screen action movie,
Yeah.
which he can pull off, and it looks great. And I also found it to be from a screenplay that he and a gentleman, Michael Bacall, he and co-writer Michael Bacall wrote. I thought it was very purposeful.
Yeah.
Okay, and it was purposeful that it was the flu that his daughter had. I mean, it was the common flu. It wasn't any made up like disease that she had. It
Right.
was the flu. And so they couldn't get medical help. They didn't have like a medical insurance. They couldn't get medicine for the flu. And all these other things that were going on, things about the media, that the media controls content and how powerful the media was. I think all of that was by design.
Yeah.
And in science fiction, it should be, because that's what science fiction is. It is a mirror to society, to political science, and that's what good science fiction is. And this was fun. Look, Glenn Powell, as we stated, the guy can do romantic comedy, he can do comedy, he can do some drama,
And by
and
the way,
obviously he can do action. Yes,
can he can do an action sequence in just a towel, and the towel doesn't fall off until he takes it off. So that is
until
a
he takes
feat.
it off. Yes.
That's a feat.
That is a feat. Yes. Yay for the towel.
Yes.
But yeah, I think Glenn Powell's really good, and he's a great reason to watch this movie. He's a lot of fun, and Michael Cera was a lot of fun too. His scene, for me, the movie gets a little wonky in the third act, and it does run
Yeah.
a little long. The movie didn't, for me, anyways, it didn't necessarily need to be 2 hours and 15 minutes. It gets a little wonky in the third act. Once the girl from Coda,
Yeah,
Amelia
Jones, Amelia Jones.
Amelia Jones gets into the get yeah. Certain things happen that I don't know. It just gets a little disjointed. It's almost as if they tried to rush the movie
Mhm.
and they tried to run to the finish. And I didn't feel like it didn't reach that crescendo. It didn't,
Yeah,
there wasn't enough cathartic, like it didn't have that cathartic yes for me. Um, so it had a really good build up and I like that. I just wish it just wish it had more of a punch at the end.
yeah,
Now
I
look,
agree.
they were very wise. They were very wise. They know Glenn Powell is no Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they
Yeah,
were very wise not to make him so. Glenn Powell obviously is very buff in his own way, but he's not going to deliver lines like Schwarzenegger can. So they stayed away from it. Fine, I'm good with that. That's very smart. Also, I thought it was great that they separated Killian like so in the original you mentioned Richard Dawson. Okay,
yeah,
so in the 1985 version, Richard Dawson is Killian. He's
yeah,
a studio suit at the same time as being the host of this game, The Running Man.
right.
Why was that? At again, it was just the sign of the times.
Yeah,
Richard Dawson had a renaissance and he was host of the Family Feud, in which
yeah,
people loved him as that
yes,
host, right?
yep,
And he was
yep,
great. And he basically played a darker version of himself
right.
as this host, and people loved him as that. James Brolin couldn't do that. He couldn't
No,
get away. Like he couldn't do that.
no,
So
no.
make
It
him
made
the
more sense.
swarmy suit. I loved how you call him. It made more sense. And Coleman Domingo did a great job. I forget the name of his character, but it wasn't Killian. So I liked how they separated that and they made those characters
Yeah,
so, I appreciated whatever they changed. I didn't mind that. I loved the actions, like the set pieces were a lot of fun.
yeah,
Saw it in a Dolby theater, and it
me too.
looked and sounded amazing. It's a
It was
good
Bobby
action
T.
movie. It's
Bobby T. Coleman
Bobby
Domenico's
T.
Bobby
Yeah.
T. Yeah,
Yeah, and he's a good fun character to watch, and it really is about the injustices of the common working man. I mean, his biggest Ben Richards' biggest sin is not just loving his wife and daughter, but it's caring for
other people.
everyone around him,
Yeah,
other people. And that's what got him in trouble. That's what got him fired. That's what got him on a blacklist. It
right.
made him unhireable. And, I loved that. And that's where Glenn Powell is great because he was a hero of the people. He's a
Yeah,
good, defiant hero. And I think for today's world, right? We look for a hero of the people, and
yeah,
Glenn, I don't mind Glenn Powell being that
yeah.
person,
Go ahead, Glenn.
right?
You go,
Go
Glenn.
ahead, Glenn. Yeah, it's like nice to meet you. Go ahead. I like angry Glenn, but I also like fun Glenn too. He's good for him. Good, and he's worked his way up. It's Edgar Wright has had like this crazy great career. The Cornetto trilogy, from Shaun of the Dead to Hot Fuzz,
Hmm.
World's End. You mentioned Baby Driver, which I I love Baby Driver.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Last Night in Soho as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
I did skip Scott, and I didn't mean
Oh,
to, but
Scott
a lot
Pilgrim.
of
Yeah, I
people
love
love
Scott
Scott
Pilgrim.
Pilgrim. And I know that a lot of people, and I don't know why, a lot of people didn't take to Last Night in Soho, and
I
it
know.
was a bomb. I don't know why. I thought it was a really great ghost story,
Yep.
and Edgar Wright was able to put all, but he still puts, like, you could tell an Edgar Wright film,
Yeah.
the way that he edits things, the way, especially in that Cornetto trilogy, the way that beers
Yeah.
fill up in a tap, and the way he uses music. That was the one constant in this movie too. He
Yeah.
still uses music awesomely. I think
Yeah.
he's on the same level as Quentin Tarantino
He is.
with the way that he uses music. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
and it makes a remarkable bed with whatever action is going on, and it's great. And that's I think he's a really good, viable director. And I always, it makes me wonder, what would Ant-Man have been had he had been allowed to further go on and direct Ant-Man?
Yeah.
Like, so he truly can make an action movie. I think this adaptation, I am with you. I don't mind that they remade this movie. I think the two can exist, and I think that you
Yep.
can enjoy both of them. They're
Yep.
just different enough. And again, I think you're right. The first one is a little bit of a lower budget, and you can tell. There was an aspect of the first one that I kind of wish transcended into here. It's something else in which everybody's watching, right? And they
Uh-huh.
kind of paint Ben Richards as the bad guy. But in the first one, you see the tides turn, where the
Right.
crowds who are betting against Ben Richards start to bet on Ben Richards to win.
Right.
And like the network doesn't really see that coming, and that doesn't necessarily happen in the new one. But it's very interesting, and you being a Stephen King fan that I know you are, he this year alone we've seen two Stephen King adaptations that are kind of very similar in plot,
Yes.
albeit they're different in tone. We had The Long Walk, and now we have The Running Man. And they're both similar because they both involve a competition. And they're competitions of endurance.
Yep.
They're competitions in which, if you can't endure, you die violently.
Right.
Death is on the table. Both are broadcast to the entire United States, anyways, right? And the winner is said to get, a gazillion dollars at the end if they can outlast their competitors.
Right.
And if, the people who can't make it get killed,
Yep.
and I was like going, wow,
Yeah,
King
I
was
didn't
going
really
through a
realize
phase.
that, but yeah, but two
Yeah, and
movies like
both are in
that this year.
dystopian futures.
Hmm.
And both are in very dystopian futures. So King had something going on in his mind back then. So,
What just back then, his brain. I hope maybe
yeah,
he'll once he does die or whatever in his old age, they'll let people examine his brain because the man, not only being as just the most one of the most prolific writers I've ever known, but the amount of ideas and stories that he has in his head, I just it's just unfathomable. Just all the
it
things
really is.
he's. I mean, truly, he's a genius in what he does. I mean, there's nothing. His brain operates differently from a normal person. Let me just say that.
I
Has
I
to.
would agree with you. And like
He's
when you
tapping
really
into something that not normal people don't usually tap into.
no,
Is
and
my
when
thought.
you break it down, and maybe I'm missing one, and you can help me, but we've actually had four adaptations. I broke it down to the two because they're very similar. But this year we've had The Monkey.
Oh, right.
We had The Monkey earlier, and we had Life of Chuck.
Right.
And
Which I
I
did
can't
finally see, by the
see.
way. It was very sweet.
Oh, oh my God!
So sweet.
I
Yeah.
broke down like, and again, how different is Life of Chuck from The Monkey? How different is a movie like Life of Chuck from The Running Man?
Yeah. 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 That's what I'm saying. His brain just definitely doesn't work the same way as the rest of us.
Your point, it operates on a different level It surely does.
And
So, and then on
next
TV we
year,
have
just
it.
just as a side thing,
Well,
next year um is the was it what is it? Sorry. The 20 no, the 50th? Is it 50 years from 1986 to now? Oh God, I don't know math. Stand By Me. It came out in
oh yes,
1986.
yes, yep, no, yep.
And I believe
The
that Will
Body
Wheaton, Corey Feldman, and Jerry O'Connell are going to go do like a couple of show things,
screenings, yep,
Yeah.
yep, yeah.
And they'll
Oh, and
probably
then
talk
another
about
little,
River.
yep, another tidbit about The Running Man is that Stephen King had to approve Ben Richards. He had to approve of Glenn Powell. Glenn Powell had to kind of quote unquote audition
Yeah.
for Stephen King to get the role, and Stephen King gave it the approval. And
Yeah.
I know that he got like some semblance of an executive producer credit on
Sure, he
it
always says.
and
Yeah, he usually
whatnot.
does. Yeah,
So,
he's very savvy and he's also on the pulse, man. I mean, he's very, he also tweets a lot and he, gives his thumbs up to stuff and like if he says, "Oh, this horror film really got me," and then I go, "What is it?" Because I trust his judgment on pretty much everything. But yeah, he yeah, it'll be a sad
yeah,
day when he leaves our earth, I think.
yeah, I think it's gonna, he's definitely one of the world's greatest authors for sure, the most prolific, and he writes so many different things. Whether it's just not just straight up horror, but he writes science fiction, he writes
Yeah,
fantasy. I mean, the
fantasy.
Dark Tower series, and
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so yeah, and he leaves us with The Running Man, and I believe it's a very entertaining adaptation, and it's a remake. It's a remake that I'm fine with them doing. I think it was in decent hands with Edgar Wright. He did a good
Hmm.
job. I think it was
I give it
well
four
cast.
stars. Four
You're
stars for
giving
me.
it four. I'm gonna actually take a page from your critic notebook. I'm gonna give it 3.5. I'm
Okay.
giving it a 3.5. Just again, I just wish the ending was a little bit better. But thanks to Glenn Powell, again, this is where acting really can save a movie, and
Or a
this is where
presence.
star
No,
quality, a
it's his
presence.
presence. It's his yeah. It's who
And
he
you
is.
really
Yeah.
root for him, and he really was a man of the people and a hero for the people, and he's a really good presence, and I can't wait to see what he has coming up next.
Yeah.
Always look forward to what he's got going on, and if they do make another Maverick, I sure hope he's in it again.
Yeah,
He
for
didn't die in the
sure.
last one, right? No, he didn't.
No,
No, yeah.
no.
So
Yeah,
there you go. Oh, and he's
absolutely.
great friends with Tom Cruise. He
Who
says
wouldn't
Tom
be?
Cruise calls him up and always gives him like pointers and stuff. So good for
Why
him.
not? Yeah, he's a good dude. Definitely a good dude. So yeah, I'm looking forward to his stuff too. So thanks. This was fun. Yeah.
Always.
I think we got a big one next week though, don't we?
Oh, I think it's going to be wicked good.
Wicked good.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Again, thanks for tuning in and like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and let us know what you think of The Running Man if you've seen it, and also any of the other Stephen King adaptations that we have talked about. So let us
Yeah,
know
there are
what
at
your
least
thoughts are.
four at the movie theaters this year alone. Four. So if you caught them, tell us what you think.
Yep,
I know
absolutely.
we love the monkey. We saw that together and we had a blast.
We
A
did.
blast.
We did.
So fun.
That was fun. That was very
Yes, it
fun.
was.
Okay. Take care, everybody, and
Bye,
we'll see you
all.
guys soon. Bye.